experts with us who will share their valuable insights and experience. Our esteemed panelists are Dr. N. Lakshman Rao, retired professor in library and information science from Osmania University, Hyderabad. Dr. Jai Bhatt, librarian engineering, Drexel University, Philadelphia. Dr. Manju Naika, Chief Library Officer, IIT Bombay. Dr. Neeraj Kumar Singh, Deputy Librarian, Punjab University. Dr. Vinod Kumar Mishra, Assistant Librarian, NIT Rourkela. Dr. Kush Mohan Sibu, Assistant Librarian, IIT Goa. Again, I welcome all experts. We are also privileged to have Dr. Sandeep Kumar Pathak, librarian at IISER Bhopal, as our moderator for this session. I would like to extend a special thanks to our organizer, Dr. Prabhat Pandey, President of MPLA, to his tireless efforts in making this event possible. As we explore this important topic, I request everyone to engage actively, ask your questions, and share your perspectives. Thank you for joining us today. Before we begin the session, I would like to request Dr. Prabhat Pandey, President of MPLA, to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Seema. Welcome to all again in this ONOS session. This is fourth session of ONOS. Previously, MPLA initiated in October 2020. We have organized first session on ONOS. Then in November 2020, we also conducted second session on ONOS. Then in 2022, we organized third session on ONOS. So MPLA initiative remarkable, and MPLA Dr. Sandeep Pathak is also deliver a lecture in 2019 to implement ONOS. So government introduced the One Nation, One Subscription scheme to provide student, faculty, and researcher across the country with seamless access to vast array of international scholarly journals. These initiatives aim to revolutionize academic research in India by offering nationwide access to high-quality global research articles starting from January 2025. A significant rupees 6,000 crore has been allocated for ONOS scheme, which will be in effect for 3 calendar year 2025, 2026, and 2027. This funding, part of a new central sector scheme, is designed to provide extensive access to academic journals and foster research across government runs higher education and research institutions in India. I'm not taking much time, so welcome all our esteemed speakers once again. And Dr. Lakshman Rao also deliver his talk in 2020, and all the Dr. Ramesh Gaur, so many experts are there. So this is our MPLA efforts. Government consider this. So we all welcome, MPLA welcome this initiative of Government of India. And before we start the session, today, one of our teacher, Dr. Usha Pawan from Rajasthan University, Jaipur, died today. First of all, we condolence them. Then we can start the session. So we can take 1 minute silence. Then over to Dr. Sandeep Pathak. He can conduct the session. Thank you so much. Right. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Over to Dr. Pathak. Dr. Sandeep?
Yes, sir. Am I
Yes.
audible?
Yes, please go ahead.
So, once again, I sincerely thank all the participants for joining us. So, very good evening to all of you. Very good morning to Dr. Jay. He is joined from US. I sincerely thank everyone for joining this session in a very short period of time, and I sincerely thank to Dr. Jay. In fact, one morning I was just checking, I think day yesterday morning or day before yesterday morning, and he suggested, why can't we have a session on one nation, one subscription. He says it's a new nice initiative, and I said, you called me on the right time, because we were just planning on this. And so once again, I welcome you all. So now my duty is to start this panel discussion. So let me see all the panelists on their video. Dr. Jay, Dr. Manju is there. Dr. Vinod, please on your video. Dr. Neeraj, Dr. Khush from IIT Goa, myself, and Prabhas sir also. You may please on your video. And Professor Lakshman Roy is with us. We all are very happy to have you on this platform. So we are going to have a panel discussion on one nation, one subscription. And as Prabhas sir has mentioned, we already had a number of panel discussions on one nation, one subscription. And I think we know that Madhya Pradesh Library Association has, as Prabhas sir has mentioned, I think this is the fourth in the series. We have this concept, we are taking it forward, and I think many of our panelists have already joined this platform and discussed about one nation, one subscription. So I think you all must be feeling very happy, now that has been really conceptualized, government has implemented. Now we all are looking forward, how it goes. And that is why we all are here, because for many, still it is a very new concept. So I have few slides before we move forward. So kindly allow me to just a second.
Yes, Sandeep, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm going to share a slide here. So just confirm whether my slides are visible.
Yes, visible.
Yes, sir, visible.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, so overview about one nation, one subscription. So before the panel discussion, I thought of, setting a theme before this thing. So, we know the Union Cabinet, has approved this on November 25th, and, initially allocated 6,000 crore for first 3 years. Right, so it might happen that first year 1,500 crore, and then with some price cap, and it goes on for this thing. So this called initiative One Nation One Subscription. So what is the right now scenario in India? There are many consortium under many ministries, one consortium. So the plan is that the all consortium will be merged, and there will be a single window negotiation, and coordinating agencies Internet Center Gandhinagar. So as of initially, they want to give access to 6,300 government institutions. Things are still not very clear. Who will be the 6,300 institution? I think soon Internet will put everything on their website. So they are planning to provide access to 13,000 scholarly journals, under a single platform. And this will be coordinated by Implement Center Gandhinagar. Implement Center is already providing access to e-resources to CF10 institution as of now, and then other universities. So they have a it aims to democratize access to high quality academics for students and researchers across India, especially tier 2, tier 3. Basically, all the institutions, and 13,000. This is the major in this thing, and they plan to cover 1.8 crore students, faculty, and research scholars. There is some data has been provided. I am not going much in these things. And then what is one nation? So I think one no, because we can make out as a layman that central government is going to take up this subscription part, and the centrally funded institution and other institution will get access to this e-resources. How the platform will work and all those things that will be discussed during panel discussion. So this is for the calendar years. So it says calendar years 2025, 26 and 27. So I hope calendar year means generally January to December. So let's see whether it's calendar year wise or financial year wise, but it is written in one of the official document that it is a calendar year wise. And this Anushandhan National Research Foundation will review this time to time, and this mission is under Viksit Bharat 2047. So this is a new scheme launched by the central government of India, and then researcher and students will get access. In the phase 1, 6,300 students. Phase 2, maybe I think they may include other institutions, and maybe phase 3, all the citizens of India. Let's see how it goes. So there are various, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And purpose, people get access to high quality journals. Though I think everybody will agree that being a librarian, we also make sure that whatever open education resources are available, because this is all about the subscription based resources. But all librarian, I think you all will agree that we are making visibility of whatever open education resources. We are spreading the awareness in our academic campus, and listing the list on our website. Coverages is we already talked about number. So as of now, 30 publishers are there. Budget 6,000 crore for 3 years, and Implement will take care of this, right? And then significance, definitely it will support the objective of National Education Policy 2020, ANRF, and Atmanirbhar Bharat. Ease of access, so definitely there will be one portal where this content will be accessible. We will discuss about this. And long-term vision, so NRF will ensure optimal usage. They will critically review time to time, and let's see how it goes. So what is the role of the library Implement in ONOS? So they will provide a centralized access, technical support, data monitoring, managing subscription, and facilitating access to the institutions. So integration with NEP 2020 and NNRF, alignment with the educational policy, and then support for the research and innovation, and collaborative framework. Key objectives: easy access to knowledge, right? Then fostering research and innovation, cost-effective solution. So what we are in impression that after one nation, one subscription, definitely the public money will be saved. More scholar will get access. So these are the key points we already discussed here, and how it is going to happen. We already discussed. The Implement will take care of this, and with this words global standing. So I think few institutions already, few countries they have with 1 year 2 publishers, but going with the 30 publisher is a very good initiative. I think we all thank the government of India for taking this initiative and making this happen, right? Because we had many, and this support the Viksit Bharat. These are the 30 publishers, as you can see here. AIP, APS, Oxford, Springer, Wiley, elsewhere. These are the major publishers. ACS, IEEE for engineering, IOP, as you can see, many publishers for physics, chemistry, mathematics, and then ASSE, annual reviews, AMS, AAAS, Emerald. I think we already know there are many library science journals, SPI, SAGE, So very, if you see the 30 publishers, well thought, and then, big coverages, benefits of ONOS. So definitely cost will go down, access will definitely start, and research quality, right? How this will improve, we all are going to discuss. There are some benefits if you compare with the other, before ONOS. And so let's see, it's very premature to say, because let's see how ONOS goes, right? And why ONOS is needed? Because expand the access, avoid duplication of general subscription, efforts to avoid efforts being taken in general subscription, and we all will have a single platform, right? So this is a very nice initiative. And when it was, conceptualized, so this was the National Education Policy 2020, and we how things have gone. And I remember I presented a paper at IIT Gandhinagar CLSTL, which was organized by Dr. Kumbhar in 2019, where I presented a paper on one nation, one subscription. And so let's see, we are all are here to discuss what happened next. So with these words, now let us start the panel discussion with the eminent panelists. We all these panelists are here: Professor Rao, Jay Bhatt, Dr. Manju, Dr. Neeraj, Dr. Vinod, Khush, are here. So let us start the panel discussion. And so I'll start with the so we'll have a first question I'm going to ask to all the panelists, and then second question will be a different to each panelist. So let me ask the first this overall perspective about ONOS. So now I'm going to stop this here. I'll take one by one all the panelist view, and then again I'll come back to this thing. So overall perspective about one nation, one subscription. So now we start with the Professor Lakshman Rao, who is the ex-head of the department, Usmania University. So Professor Rao, each panelist will get 1 minute for this question about to talk about overall perspective about one nation, one subscription. Over to you, Lakshman sir.
Thank you very much. ONOS, we are waiting for last 3 to 4 years. Everybody is hearing about it. Initially, we were talking about 27 libraries were combinedly subscribed by the government in the Egypt. That we have taken as example of ONOS, but it is not exactly ONOS. And we have so many institutions. This is a good step, even though there are so many loopholes are there. There are actually NEP, they discussed among the whole country, but this was not discussed maybe because of the finances involvement. However, I'm sure it goes on reviewing in next one year or so, then automatically they may update. But still, this type of webinar may help to raise the issues so that these issues can be considered by the government and implemented. I thank the government of India and also congratulate Influminate for thinking about ultimately getting it ONOS acceptable. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Over to you, Dr. Jay. Yeah, please. We are looking forward to have your views, overall views, perspective on one nation, one subscription. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sandeep, and thank you so much, MPLA, Dr. Pandey, and everyone in the team for organizing this session. This is much required. And very happy to see Dr. Rao, and I totally agree with his comments about ONOS. I think it does indicate that this is a bold step that Government of India has taken, and sometimes success doesn't come if we do not take some risk or even bold initiatives. If you look from the science and technology perspective, I know we are also looking at all other disciplines. Currently, the open access universe is not that big enough. So many of those journals are still in the paid wall, and you can, and everybody knows that there are so many expensive journals. In addition, if you look at the article processing charges to publish an article in those journals, it is very, very expensive. Close in the US, sometimes they ask for like $4,000, $5,000 per article to be published, even more or maybe less. But average. And it is practically impossible if you are 200 researchers to publish in an open access platform. $4,000 by 300, you just count how many dollars. So there have to be some alternative way, or somehow that cost has to be supported. So these are some challenges. In ONOS, I think what this means is you are just going to read at no cost at those institutions. We do not know what those institutions are. We do not know what journals are. They mentioned 13,000 journals, but there's every journal that Elsevier publishes, every journal that Springer publishes, we do not know. Another question that I have is, they indicate high impact journals. What does that mean? Does that mean that only high impact journals will be given, will be open access ONOS, or all the journals? So these are certain things which are not yet clear, and we will wait until that information comes out. So I think we are all very excited to hear this. It is a thrilling moment, but at the same time, a lot of challenges involved that we need to also think about how to resolve those.
Yes.
Thank you, Sandeep.
So much. Dr. Manju from IIT Mumbai. I request panelists to stick to the time. So 1 minute is for this question. So yes, Dr. Manju, please tell us overall your perspective about One Nation, One Subscription.
Yeah, Sandeep. Thank you. Yeah, it is a great initiative. It improves quality of education, the research in India. The second point is of the students. The third, the point is that most of the library across the world, so they used to, is a true as well, is a always the budget constraint. This ONOS take care about the more than 50%, 70% of library budget, so that it relieved the library. As Dr. Jai Bhatt has raised the 1%, still we have not had detailed about the ONOS. As I know that whatever 30 publishers they covered in the first stage, so published by it has been covered under the ONOS. And also backfiles. Backfile policy, it vary from one publisher to another publisher, but however, in initial subscription, how they will offer to the each institution, similar way, they will give access. Another last point is that, yes, sustainability and also open access. So again, we are yet to get more details on open access. As I know that the open access also covered in ONOS, particularly the green open access. So if you see overall these things, and particularly providing access to the students, the faculty and researchers at the cost of around average users, it comes around 1,000 to 1,100 rupees. It's almost an affordable, okay, policy, and also it's a great initiative to cover more than 16,300 institutions, 1 crore users. And when OS, particularly CFTA, is nothing but an extension of existing ESS consortium or INDEST consortium. But the great beneficiary will be the colleges, the university. They used to tell, or they didn't have access to these resources so far. It is a great resource for them to improve the research through this infrastructure, this access. So these are all 2-3 my initial remarks. Thank you, Sandeep.
Thank you so much. And Manju will come back to you. I think there was some break in your voice, maybe up to 10%. So we'll come back to meantime. You may correct there was some break in your voice. So now I request Dr. Neeraj Kumar Singh from Punjab University. Yes, Dr. Neeraj.
Yeah. Good evening to all of you, and many thanks to the MPLA, specifically Dr. Pandey and Dr. Sandeep, for organizing this panel discussion. Because once this ONOS news become public, so there are lots of questions coming in the librarian's mind, even the library professional mind, what we are going to get, what are the resources, how we are going to access it. So I think government is also working on it, and very soon we will be in position to get some official communication from the InflipNet maybe in the next year, so that we can plan accordingly. So first and important thing is it's a really very good initiative, and government is working hard from the last 2 years. This year they have finally implemented it, but before this, I think as per the discussion with the publisher and other librarians, this government has taken this initiative last 2 years back, but there are certain problems with the publishers, like what type of resources we are going to cover, how many institutions are going to cover, whether we want to implement in the phased manner. Then there are some issues with the release of payment by the ministries. So mostly the government has realized one thing, that before this ONOS, what was the current practice? The practice is the libraries, specifically the academic institutions, they are paying amount, or they are paying the subscription fee for the same content. Like there's some common resources which are subscribed by many academic institutions. So government has taken the data from all the academic institutions, how much government of India is spending in terms of getting the access of these publishers. So after getting all these data, after doing the homework, they have realized that why not government will pay centrally to these publishers, and the access will be for all the government institutions. So after having meeting with the publishers and the academic institutions and the working committee, they have finalized that, and they have also come to know that InflipNet consortium, and there are many consortium, they are paying publishers the hefty amount. There are some individual subscription also by the government institution, by the private universities. So, and at present, East South Sindhu Consortium, they are also providing access to 3,200 colleges through its Panelist program, 134 technical institutions, 217 universities, 19 CFTIs, including IITs and ITs. And the overall budget that was estimated, I'm not sure about this data because I have read it from some of the documents which are available in the public domain, that overall government is paying 180 million USD to these publishers when it comes to getting the access of these things. So government had decided the solution to this problem is ONOS, and ONOS is basically a consolidated payment to publishers through central agencies. So now the government is planning to implement it in 3 phases. Like in phase 1, it is for the government institution, and as other panelists they have said that this year more than 6,000 institutions they will get the access of 30 publishers content. Yes. But there are certain areas which is not clear, and I'm sure that with the coming time it will become more clear to the library professional and the authorities what type of access we will get, how we are going to access these resources. And there are some issues which really needs to be discussed as raised by the panelists. So overall, from the government point of view, from the library point of view, and from researcher point of view, it is a very good initiative. And the purpose is to provide access to quality content to the Indian researcher. So this is what I.
Thank you so much, Dr. Neeraj. And once again, I request the panelists to stick to the time. So for this question, we have given 1 minute. So now I request Dr. Vinod Kumar Mishra from NIT Rourkela. Over to you, Vinod.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, MPLA, for organizing such event. And in a layman style, I would like to say just as name states, one nation, one subscription. So we all are aware there were a lot of consortia were there, like Indust were there, but later government merged all these Indust and formed that ESS. So similarly, still like DRDO, CSIR labs, agricultural institutes were there, and they had their own consortia. So government thought of actually merging all the things, all the consortia, and that they just thought of actually just negotiate on behalf of all the institutions, and basically these institutions are public funded institutions. So it's a very simple concept that I think, in my view, that government thought of actually reducing the cost and making the resources accessible to most of the institutions. So in first stage, they have considered that public funded institutions, and now we have to see 6,000 crore rupees is too much, huge amount. But at the same time, we have to think that since government is also, we are promoting indigenous knowledge, and India is considered to be a multilingual country, and still there are a lot of public funded institution who is focusing on particular language areas or discipline, like Sanskrit universities are there, lot of social sciences, Tamil, Telugu, they are focusing on their research area, and how this amount, whatever government has given for the research institution, is going to actually justify their requirement. So that is also one big point, because later on it may happen that some most of the institution, not only it's not a small number of institution, it's a big number of institution who are focusing on indigenous knowledge and doing research on local languages. So that should be also considered. And one nation one subscription is nothing but it's a very big consortium, you can say. Government is just going to negotiate on behalf of all the public funded institution, and we have to mainly think, see that how it is cost effective. So that's my point, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vinod. Very brief, very precise. Now I request Khush Mohan Shibu from IIT Goa. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to all of you. And yes, so as we all know that the Union Cabinet has given the note for go ahead of one nation, one subscription, but it is not yet formally informed to all the institutions. We got the news through media, and once this news was in the public forum, the speculation, it was very much speculative about what will happen next. There are various questions in the public forum, and especially the institutions have various queries. So first of all, I would like to tell that it is very bold step. It is a benchmark decision of the union government. I have heard that such kind of initiatives have been taken in Norway and Germany, but that was not on this much big scale. So it is a very bold step, wherein 30 publishers are there on board, and which is a step which will promote equitable access to the knowledge, boosting research and reducing duplication of efforts, which we were doing at all the institutions. So it is, as my co-panelists have said, that we were subscribing at different institutions. So we can consider this as a big consortium, which the union government has taken care of. And now we will see how the things will move ahead. However, having said that, there will be several factors which will crop up as we move ahead, like whether it is cost effective, relevancy of the journals in the subscription model, because there are institutions who specialize in different fields. And the last one is whether it would be a sustainable model. So all these things would be clear as we move ahead with the subscription. And let's be positive about this model. Yeah, that's all from my side.
Thank you so much, Khush, for talking about. So what actually we all were trying to say, all the panelists, in the nutshell, that it's a basically single window subscription, right? So because as of now, most of the ministry, they have their own consortium, they are negotiating, and there is a lot of price variation. So that is the reason. So single window subscription, we hope that government, will provide the initially 30 publishers. Then, we know there are more than, around 10,000 publishers, academic publishers. So as of now, there are 30 publishers. Let's see how it goes. And then accessible to more and more research scholars. And I think soon InfibNet may upload the list of these 6,300 institutions because there are a lot of queries, whether these small government institutions are top private institutions. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So there is a lot of query who will be the 6,300 institutions. So that I think list should be uploaded as soon as possible. And most other remaining publishers apart from 30, they are also looking forward, how it goes. Other countries are also looking forward to this movement. So let's see. So now we are going to have a specific questions for the respective panelists. So the first question goes to Dr. Neeraj. Can you hear me? Dr. Neeraj?
Yes, I can.
So Dr. Neeraj Kumar Singh from Punjab University is librarian. So the question is to you. Can you read this question on the slide? Dr. Neeraj, can you see the slide?
Yes.
So the question is, how this ONOS is going to impact the publishing of Indian research in the quality open access journals. Over to you, Dr. Neeraj. Yeah,
Okay.
you will take 4 to 5 minutes. Yeah, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Now, recently in G20 summit also, there is one agenda which was discussed by the countries, by the representative of the G20 country, is to provide open access to the scholarly content. And in this meeting, the data which was shared by different countries, and based on this data, the report has been compiled by the Government of India, where I have read one thing, that G20 country provide approx 85% of world scientific knowledge. And based on this agenda, the working group has been set up by the Government of India, which will coordinate with other countries. And the purpose is to provide open access to content. Now, when we talk about publishing Indian research in open access content, there's one article published in Current Science, and I'm quoting some data from this particular article, that in general, the APC ranging from $7.5 to 5,000 USD, and average APC paid by Indian researcher is 1 lakh per paper. And overall APC paid by Indian researcher from research grant is 8.8 million USD. And this report was published in Current Science. So in this article, it was highlighted that APC take large fraction of research grant by the Indian funding agency. So what I'm trying to say is that Indian researcher, they are paying huge amount of money in terms of publishing their quality articles in the top quality journals, specifically those are open access. So overall, if you see the major objectives of ONOS, providing access to subscription-based e-resources is one agenda, and the remaining two agenda are increase the visibility of access of Indian research, right? And to frame a new research evaluation method, and that government is planning through Anusandhan National Research Foundation, ANRF. So now in the first phase, there are 6,000 crore has been allocated, and there is going to be 3-year contract with the publisher. And every year, Government of India will pay 2,000 crore rupees to these 3,000 publishers, to these 30 publishers. Now, the discussion is also going on that how Indian researchers, they can get benefit in terms of publishing their research in these publishers' open access journals. So in the phase 1, there is no provision, but what government is trying for the negotiating the price, which is very, very high by these publishers, specifically in terms of publishing research. So maybe in the coming year on the next phase, we will see that apart from providing access to subscription-based content, the government will also negotiate with these publishers and they will allocate some quota to different universities. So the researcher, they can publish their article in these journals. And the methodology or the criteria or the framework has been set up by the UGC. And the institution, they can also apply their criteria. So there are going to be some criteria on which researcher can apply for APC charges waiver, and the university can allocate or will allow them to publish in quality open access journal. And Government of India is trying hard, because there are many studies where it has been confirmed that when you publish your article in open access journals, there is always a chance of higher visibility, higher downloads, and higher citation. So I'm very sure that government is already working on this agenda, and very soon we will have provision in our university where instead of paying hefty amount to these publishers, government will negotiate the APC charges, and Indian researcher, they can get the benefit of publishing their research in quality open access journals. Yeah, that's it from my side.
Thank you so much, Dr. Neeraj. Am I audible, Dr. Neeraj?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're all.
Thank you so much. So now, Dr. Vinod, are you there? Dr. Vinod, please unmute yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes,
So
sir.
here's a question for you. How will ONOS impact open access movement and technical requirement for accessing these resources?
Okay, thank you, sir. Actually, Neeraj sir covered good points, and I will elaborate and see this open access movement and this ONOS contradictory to each other. Because see, government is already actually paying huge amount to access these resources by multiple institution, mainly government institution. And at the same time, as Neeraj sir told, huge amount already government is spending, we can say, in open access publishing model, because authors are paying huge amount through APC to publish these their articles in open access journals, so they can get better citations, even better citation, better visibility. But here now the thing is, if we are already paying huge amount, now government have to make the policy what they are going to do next, whether they are going to allow the authors to pay that APC charges for publishing in open access journal, or they may say no, because they are already paying huge amount to access all these resources. So if they are going to stop this one, it means you are discouraging the open access publishing model. And if you are going to still encourage that one, then actually this ONOS cost effectiveness may definitely actually will be questioned. So what would be the balancing situation? Negotiation, as Neeraj sir said, how government will negotiate all those things, because two way we cannot pay for the same thing. One, we are paying through APC, we are accessing, because all the definitely in India almost government institution will be able to access, no doubt about it, and the author may get good visibility as well as citations and all those things. But another thing is why to duplicate payment, we can say this may impact in that way. So it may government should find out that middle path, how to tackle all those things, because they are paying APC charges. It's a very huge amount. So in that way, it will impact open access also. And another thing is, good thing is that both will work together. Like open access is already there, and this ONOS model is already there. So accessibility and visibility of the articles, Indian articles especially, I would like to say, will increase more. And because it may help in better ranking at world level. And also actually they can collaborate with international fellows. In collaboration kind of thing may happen more and more, because they can reference more articles, and because of better visibility, which is not yet available to many institutions due to the fund crunch. So definitely it will boost the research and collaboration. and then potential challenge I am coming. There is a risk of reducing incentive for publisher to open access. As we discussed, this is a major challenge of APC and that ONOS model. So government need to actually thought of all those things. APC should be completely banned. Earlier, I had impression that like Neeraj sir told, 1 lakh, definitely 1 lakh per article publishing charge is huge amount. So definitely government should negotiate. And so many models are there. Pay part, we have seen recently, publisher has come up with many kind of model, then read and publish kind of model. So how these kind of model will be actually taken care by this ONOS model, subscription model. So 4 or 5 model recently publisher have given options, and a few of the institution have also actually adopted that one, but I do not know how now they are going to materialize it, because one way they have agreed, signed the agreement also. I have seen some of the institution like pay and read and publish kind of model, and now this is ONOS. So how both the things will be taken care. And now I am coming to this one, that technical requirements. So already we are aware that many of the small institutions, see, if I see this ONOS, definitely like IITs, old IITs, I will consider. Actually, I don't know how much they will get benefit out of this, because already they were, whatever they were, they need, they were actually subscribing, because they have good amount in their hand or budgets in their library. So they were actually accessing all the resources as per their requirement. But definitely it is and government is, I do not know, they are going to reduce their fund, or it will be as it is, so library can invest in other resources. So basically it is going to benefit the organization who were suffering, like new institutions. As we know, many small that new universities, new IITs, new IITs, new ICERs, they were always in need of these resources. So that will be a great benefit for them. Now, another thing is technical feasibility. As we know that to access the small institution, even they don't have actually IP based access of the resources. They are managing their even websites, as I know, through that third party agency. There is no IP based authentication. So how they are going to tackle this one? Now in FlipNet Center definitely may think of it. And there are so many options, like a centralized portal they can make, where each and every individual can institution member can log in. Like it's a kind of authentication mechanism, like Sibolith is also there, but in each and every institution have to install that one. So government need to think, and in a single model, kind of a big platform, definitely, where each researcher can be authenticated and it will be accessible to everyone, because it's a very difficult another challenge for the small institution to access these resources. For example, now bandwidth, it is most important thing. Bandwidth, we are just organizing our event, and we know our bandwidth is so not up to the mark. We cannot even start video of all the persons who are participating here, because it will drastically reduce our speed. So in small institution is always, even big institution, I have seen in our institution like NIT is a big institution, bandwidth is a always challenging one. So government should also consider how they will provide better network, better bandwidth network. Internet is not a big issue, but how they are going to actually provide better bandwidth to the participating colleges or beneficiary colleges or universities. That is one important thing, because if people, and another thing is mobile compatibility, because mobile is even accessible to everyone in their hand. So how publishers are going to provide mobile compatible that interfaces, where every faculty or beneficiary can access the resources very easily through their hands. And as I told, that multilingual, it's a major challenge. I can see that 30 publishers are there, but I do not know they are going to satisfy indigenous knowledge or indigenous Indian language support research materials are there or not, and if not, then how they are going to satisfy that one, because many of the resources like AIA, I have seen that it is very important resource for the ISRO and maybe DRDO. Many of the resources may not be useful for the other institutions. So how they are going to satisfy their requirement, that is another challenge. And these are some of the technical things. And also one thing, even I have seen that a small institution infrastructure like technical infrastructure, computer labs are there or not, because 6,000 crore is a huge amount, but how to access that resources, that we need to think in a large scale. And how they will handle, like for InfluMnet, for everything they have a coordinator in the appointed, a coordinator in every institutions and colleges to access their resources, like maybe analyst, maybe we are accessing that faculty profile pages are there. So for each and everything some coordinators are there. So I think InfluMnet or government, concerned government institution need to actually appoint some point of contact, and they can listen their issues while accessing all these resources. So that technical aspect is one of the major thing I can see here, being I am working over it on this technical, like that usage statistics, how individual can download their usage statistics and boost up their actually usage statistics in their or concern organization. So these are some of the authentication mechanisms. There are so many methods are there for authentication. So what kind of authentication? Earlier we know government InfluMnet were providing that Sibolith based technology, but we were also, many of the institutions that subscribe that single sign-in methods from private publishers. So I do not know how they are going to impact that one also. So definitely that is one thing. So this open access and this ONOS model, I see that a lot of still things need to be done, because what will happen to APC, because it's a huge amount I see, and that government is going to completely stop that one through any order, or they are going to actually investigate, like they have just I think they must have exercised that how much government is right now paying, all institution is paying, and accordingly they might have negotiated. Still document need to come in a public domain to see how they have negotiated, how it is cost effective. So in the same way, now I think government, another exercise is APC, how much they are paying to each and every publisher. I do not know whether they have exercised this one or not, although some documents are there, as Neeraj sir told, that data is there, but now they have to consider that one also, find out those data, and how much already actually resources is already available in public domain, that is open access resources. Because see, if out of 10 resources, already 8 resources are public, available in public domain, open access, then it means we are paying only for the 2 resources. So in that way also, cost benefit analysis we have to do. It's a huge, it's a very big task for data analysis, basically in terms of cost and in terms of article, number of articles in open, already available in open access model and closed access model. So this is my point, sir, from technical as well as open access and ONOS point of view.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vinod. And you rightly said that bandwidth is one of the major issue. I'll give one example. Like government of India, government of Madhya Pradesh has provided access to e-books to all the government colleges through e-Granthalaya web open. But due to bandwidth, they are not able to download the e-books. So one side government is spending the money, but other side you see they are not able to download. So this is the, I think you rightly talked about that what should be the technical requirement for this. And as you said, ONOS will definitely impact the open access movement. But we all need to wait and see how exactly it is going to make an impact. So thank you so much, Dr. Vinod, for insights on the given question. Now move to Dr. Khush. Khush, are you there?
Yes,
Can you
sir.
hear me? Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's assistant librarian at IIT Goa. So the question is right over here. This how will this one nation one subscription impact open access movement and technical requirement for accessing these resources? Over to you, Kush.
Sir, I think this is the same question,
Yeah, just a second.
which the screen is not moving.
Can you see now? I'll repeat the question. No issue. This how one nation this how could be the just second. Can you hear me, Kush?
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Can you see the question now?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So how could be the reason that ministry has gone for a subscription model when all the publishers are moving towards open access? Over to you, Dr. Kush.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. So, we have seen that the ministry has adopted the subscription model, whereas on the other side, we have seen that there is a global shift towards the open access. Many of the journals recently have been converted into open access. So I would touch upon some of the factors that could have been the reasons why the union government has gone for a subscription model. So one of the reasons can be the framework which was already available. As we already know that there were 10 consortiums through which all the institutions were getting the access. So because of the immediate national priorities and to access the knowledge available, the government might have merged all the 10 available consortiums and negotiated the prices with the publishers, and then might have gone for the subscription model instead of going for an open access model, because we all know that open access model will take much time, more than that of a subscription model, because subscription model is readily available. You have to just negotiate the price, sign the license agreement, and then you have to go ahead with the model. But open access model is quite a different kind of model, wherein the government would have to negotiate the APC prices, APC charges, and how it would be divided within the institutions. So the other factor is like if we see the primary goal of the ONOS is to bridge the digital divide and provide uniform access to knowledge resources to all the institutions. So it was the immediate option for which the government has gone for the subscription model. And also the time factor was there, because as we know, this was started way back in 2022. So it has taken 3 to 4 years to come to a stage wherein the publishers are now on board. And as we all know, we are from the library fraternity, that the most toughest publishers were the Elsevier, ACS. So it was very difficult for them to negotiate with such kind of publishers. However, they have gone for the subscription model. They have negotiated well with the publishers. The other factor could have been the subscription exclusive content. Now, many of the journals and databases still operate entirely or partially on subscription models. The ministry's initiative ensures access to these critical resources, which may not yet be freely available through open access. In short, the journals have not entirely been converted into open access. Many of the journals are still in the subscription model. So this was the easy option to start with for the government to go for a subscription model. Now, the other factor could have been the transition period. Now, open access systems are still evolving, as we all know. There are various factors which have to be decided before we go for a open access model. There are still various challenges in open access model, like the sustainability, predatory publishing, and uneven global adoption of the open access. So until these issues are resolved, subscription model provides a reliable model. The other factor could have been the open access gaps. While open access is growing and evolving, not all the high impact journals are still available freely. Many of the prestigious journals are still through the subscription model.
Yes.
So the best option which was available for the union government was to go for a subscription model rather than waiting and delaying the priority of the nation for knowledge equitability. Central negotiation. Now, as we know that it was all the rates of the subscription models have been negotiated by the union government, by the committee. So it was centralized. So when we negotiate collectively, we all know that we have more power to negotiate with the publisher. So by negotiating nationwide agreements, the ministry can secure significant cost reductions, making premium content affordable for the entire country. So this was also one of the factors why the ministry have gone for the subscription model. Also, in the subscription model, there was a cost predictability. Since we all were subscribing through various subscription models, like all the institutions were subscribing to various journals through the subscription models, not through like open access models. So the ministry was having a particular idea about what could be a probable cost if we go for a collective model of subscription. So that might be one of the factors. Cost predictability might be one of the factors for which they have gone for the subscription model. Other factor is the capacity building. A subscription model can be a stepping stone for the open access model, which will come eventually. So as we know that there are, the government has taken out 6,000 crores for 3 years. So we are into the subscription model for the first year. Maybe after 3 years, the ministry might go for an open access model. So this is just a stepping stone. Now, as we all know that business relationships, there should be good business relationships to move ahead. So strategic partnerships are also required.
Correct.
So this might be one of the initiatives from the union government, which may focus on fostering long-term relationship with publishers to facilitate a gradual shift towards open access model over a period of time. So I think probably I have covered much of the points for which the government might have gone for the subscription model. But yes, as I have told earlier, that there are many speculations. So there could be more factors why the government has gone for a subscription model. So this is all from my side.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, because this is, I think, very happening question that when we know publishers are moving towards open access, and I think we all remember after Plan S, right? Publishers have some pressure, moving towards open access, and now most of the publishers, they have a few open access journals. They are also coming up with the diamond open access where authors need not pay APC. For example, there is a one publisher, ACA, they are planning for all the, this they call transformative, so they are coming with the transformative agreement. So, many publishers, they're in transition mode, and, and slowly they all may become, open access. For example, PLOS, they are all, journals are on open access model. So thank you so much, Khush, for giving your insights on the given question.
Thank you, sir.
Now, my next question is for Professor Rao. Sir, can you hear me? Lakshman
Yes.
Rao, sir, can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you. I can hear you.
Thank you so much, sir. So here is a sir question for you. How you see the impact of one nation, one subscription on research, read and publish model, APC, article processing charges, and also what are the future challenges for academic publishing? Over to you, sir.
Yeah, can you remove this screen, please? This question, please. There is no problem.
So sure. Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to give some little background. First thing is, from 2017 to 2022, India has published 1.3 million papers, and it is expected by 2025 it will be publishing 1.5 million. And in the world, we are the fourth in publishing the research output, but we are ninth in the citation. So that means everybody started questioning the quality of the papers publications by India. This is one case. Second case is when you talk about read and publishing, about few years back, I think 4 years back, both in Germany, then afterwards, subsequently in Netherlands, what they did, they said, we can't pay so much money. And actually, Germany, they stopped for 1 year the whole subscription, but the publishers continued the subscription. And there, what they said is 5% they paid extra. And then they had a publishing, read and publish, that is where you can also publish in a limited number of publications. They will do it without any APC. Now, Dr. Jay was saying that it is 4,000, 5,000, but I wanted to say it is 9,500 is the maximum, or up to 10,000 they are charging APC with the top publishers. It is not 4 or 5 limited. It is going up to 10,000, 9,500 or so. Even just to read an article, it is going from $2,000 to $2,500. So therefore, what I wanted to say is that when you talk about the read and thing, now the question is basically we have not studied and we have not taken care in India. In US, take an example of US. In the year 2023, 52% of the journal articles are open access. In Europe, 73% of the articles are in open access. Worldwide, it is 62%. And in the year 2024, open access is going to be around 65 to 66%. So when 65% articles are only, what is the fun of paying for the same thing? What we are subscribing is we are also paying for the open access articles. And we never last 4 years in the Europe. It seems there was an attempt was made that you reduce the open access journal cost, and then that's how they reduce the subscription prices also. Now there was another case where I was talking to one of the top publisher elsewhere. They say that 20% of them are in foreign language, not in English. Of course, now today you can translate ChatGPT, etc. But otherwise, 20% of the journals are in foreign language, not in English, right? So what they are doing now, whatever the latest is that whatever open access is coming, that money is being they calculate and use as APC charges. I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say. For example, if 100% is there, 70% is the 30% are open access, then the amount of 30% is calculated, and that they are charging they are taking it as a APC charges. This is what is being done in Europe. I'm talking about Europe. Then coming to our country, unfortunately, even though open access we are buying, already APC paying, and we are buying, we have never reduced the prices from last few years. And when you talk about the open access, by the year 2026, it is an estimated that 90% is going to be the open access, because there is a lot of movement in Europe to make everything open access. That's what estimated 26 to 27, everything is going to be open access. Now, whether this ONOS will continue when everything is going to be open access, this is a basic question. Then second is, unfortunately, we don't have any streamlined strategy for paying APC by institutions or by the government, right? Then another important, naturally, what we are doing is we don't have negotiative capacity. It is only the Inflinet or some people are negotiating. And as I told you earlier, that NEP, it was distributed to everybody, and for public consumption, they were asking their opinion. But in this case, nothing has been done. So therefore, there are a lot of experiences of different libraries, and their ideas, their opinions were considered. Maybe it's the first time they are trying to do. It's okay, but we have to discuss what we are going to do. Similarly, you take an example of out of these 13,000 journals. One of the subscripts, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, they put it as one of the 30 journals. It publishes only one journal. One journal is out of 30. Then there are also aggregators are there, like Project Muse or IndianJournals.com or ACM Digital Library, the aggregators. You mean to say aggregator, they are trying to pick up the journals from the different scientific organizations or associations, and they are supplying. Automatically they may do it, but they are not exactly publishers, but they are aggregators. And what we are able to see is out of 13,000 expected, out of 13,000, 1/3 goes into OA, right? And 1/3 is not relevant to us. So that means we are only getting whatever we are getting. 1/3 is we are paying for 13,000, but actually what we are getting is only 1/3. That means because 1/3 is OA, 1/3 is not relevant or not in other languages, and only 1/3 we are really getting for all the $2,000 per year. That is one of the important things. And it is estimated as on today, 45% out of 13,000 journals, 45% are OA, or let's say next year. And it is likely to be second year, it is likely to be 55% is going to be OA, whatever we are procuring out of these 13,000 journals. So therefore, what is happening? For 45%, 50% of the journals, we are paying full charges. Is it worth? It needs to be really questioned. Then another important thing is out of 9,000 publishers, prominent publishers, 3,000 are active publishers. And you find in Scopus, also which are publishing more than 1,000 journals, there are 240 publishers are there. And out of 240 publishers, we are having only 30. So that means 210 publishers are not taken into consideration, even though they are publishing at least 1,000 articles which are useful. So the question is, it is so many complications are there. So the question is, how far we will be able to provide APC? Right. And APC, again, do we have a negotiation? Because when we are paying so much money, is the government thinking to negotiate about APC? How much to pay, what not to pay? And looking into the Western experiences, especially Europe experiences, where they are not paying too much money for APC because they link with the subscription. So that is one of the most important things that we have to take into consideration. Now, it is also estimated that in UK, 70% is going to be open access in 2025. So this is one area where we have to take into consideration of ONOS. This is and when you link with the APC and read and publish, when we look into both of them together, what we find is that there is a correlation between two. But have we made a study? We are just obliging the publisher. We have never made a study what is happening elsewhere in the world. That is one of the most important things what we have to see. Then another important thing is when you talk about this ONOS, are we going to have perpetual access? What will happen after 2 years, after 3 years? And how many journals are relevant to each library? That is important. For example, in agriculture, how do they need 30,000? Out of maybe 2,000 or 3,000 may be useful. Now, what they are paying is for paying 6,300 institution, all for 13,000 journals. So that is one of the most important thing, that how far all these journals are relevant to the libraries that are going to be there. Then more important is that this we should not leave here. I think we have to also think of resource sharing among ourselves, because most of the colleges, I'm not talking about the government colleges, they can't pay 6,000, it doesn't come under 6,000. So how we will be able, the universities will be able to link with the colleges, government colleges, and then resource sharing. Probably you can also allow others, because the government is paying other colleges, other institutions also to look into read or access these things. Then, as already our friend said, technical problems are also there. And these technical problems are very important. And then we don't have a databases in this. That is one of the important things. And we have to also promote the preprints. It is estimated at a national level, there are preprint portals are there, institutional are there. It is estimated that there are 3,000, approximately 3,000 preprint portals are there in the world. And once we say portal these things, how far we will be able to take into consideration of these things while accessing, because almost 90% of the article which is published in preprint portal is going to be the same after publishing. So till publishing, it is free. Once it is published, it becomes a copyright. And there is also, I understand that there is one aggregator base. If you select that base search, you can search all the preprints. So this is where we are talking about all these things. And then most important is, unfortunately, they have not addressed the APC. They have not addressed about the read and publish, and they have not addressed the cost of the APC, whether to reduce or not. They did not talk about the resource sharing, and they did not talk about the perpetual access. Right? There are a lot of things that are yet to be considered, and these things are to be considered, I'm sure, because the first time there will be so many problems are there. They are not in the government and the union may not be able to assess all these problems. I'm sure these things are going to be assessed in due course of time. And I'm sure we have to welcome it, whatever the worth it may be. Initially, we have to welcome it, and how best we will be able to see that how best the users will be able to make use of these 13,000 journals. And we have to promote, we have to work hard to see that these journals are used by our users. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And you rightly said that, it is our responsibility also to, make the awareness about these e-resources once they are activated in our campus, because maybe renewal will be purely based on uses. And you also talked about preprint, servers. And I always say, subscription, this is all fine, but we also see how we can, make a best uses of available open educational resources. For example, CAM archive, bio archive, tech archive. So thank you so much, sir. Now I'll move to the next question to Jay Bhatt. Sir, are you there? Jay, sir, can you hear me? Sir, can you unmute yourself?
Okay, great.
Yeah. So Jay, sir, he is a librarian of engineering in Drexel University, Philadelphia. We sincerely thank you, sir, for joining this platform. So now question is for you, how Western libraries are seeing One Nation, One Subscription initiatives for Indian institutions by Government of India. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Sandeep, and I thank you so much for everyone. These are some really excellent thoughts and initiatives. One thing I really want to point out is this is just 2 or 3 days that this has been happening. So I don't know whether in the US how many libraries have actually seen this document, especially last 3-4 days have been holidays here. But we have been conversing with One Nation, One Subscription to many of my colleagues here in the US, and they are also waiting to hear what is going to happen next, because this is something a very important initiative that Government of India has taken. A lot of issues, a lot of concerns, I agree, but I think we are going to learn and address those issues and concerns as we move forward. When we did this presentation once, initial reaction was that this is an excellent idea. Which is going to be very difficult to imagine in the US, whether this will actually work out, because of there are so many issues involved, so many publishers, so many universities and all. So we are also going to learn from this experience and how this is going to work out. So we are everybody's going to wait and watch how this is working out there. I know that there is one presentation going to be on ONOS in ALA conference coming up, but I think it's going to be changed because the new things have just happened last 3-4 days back. One thing I really wanted to also point out is, yes, I did mention $5,000, $4,000, $5,000 for APCs, and I agree with Dr. Rao that it could be $9,000, $10,000. But this was just, yeah. But I just wanted to point out that this is an exorbitant amount of money that we cannot afford $5,000 per article. When you are looking at 400, 500 scientists in your university, and each one is asking for $6,000, it is beyond the scope. And we have not approved it. So we have started negotiating with some publishers, and we now have the agreements with Elsevier and few other publishers, because if you look at STEM fields, these are the top journals, high impact journals. One argument also was that a lot of APCs were going into journals which are predatory journals, and it was sort of like a waste of money that has happened. And people were learning about it later on after they submitted money, and so open access quality is also sometimes people consider. The question is why government of India did is, that is what I again interpret or assume my thoughts, is that they are looking at, even though there are so many scientists, so many published universities in India, the impact of scientific research coming out of India was not as good compared to other countries. And the way this could work is providing access to those journals, which are high impact journals, quality journals, where a lot of countries are publishing also, to make this as soon as available to Indian scientists. And the only way to do is to provide this access to journals as quickly as possible. I am telling you one thing, that we in our labs, they are working on their experiments while they have their journals open, and as soon as they find something, immediately they refine their experiments and do something immediately. So quick access to information, so absolutely critical from the scientific perspectives, whether it is aerospace or whether it is materials engineering or whether it is other scientific disciplines. And those fields are also interdisciplinary. So engineers cannot go without physics or chemistry or biology, because these are all becoming so interdisciplinary fields. The question with other areas like humanities and social sciences, yes, I agree, these are not addressed in this particular initiative that they should have been. But I guess the focus is on how to bridge the gap between the scientific research happening in India versus the scientific research happening over globally. And they wanted to, I guess the government wanted to bridge this gap as early as possible, to reach the missions and direction as discussed in 2020 education policy, as well as 2047 Viksit Bharat initiative. So there are some issues, I understand, and we will, from the US perspective, we are also looking at it. Many of the universities have already signed with agreements with various publishers like Elsevier, where they do not have to pay for APCs. APC is a big challenge for all of us. And we are continuing to learn, continuing to explore, continuing between meeting the budget requirements, at the same time meeting the research needs, and so on. So now we are going to look at it, and I strongly think that what is now needed is lots of outreach. Librarians have to be learned about, do some lot of workshops across their different departments, making aware their potentials of how to use this ONOS in the universities. Now it has been already announced, so you have to do it. How to make it successful will all depend upon all of you there. And we'll continue to wait until what new announcements are made. Any discussion about APCs will be important also, because if we are talking about paying for 1 lakh rupees for an article, it is definitely very expensive. And of course, it is expensive for us here also in the US. Teaching workshops, webinars, connecting collaborations between faculty, increasing visibility is also important. One thing I also want to point out here is some of the research was very impressive that they came out after the collaboration with Indian scientists and American and other European scientists. So they are looking at increasing visibility of the Indian science, and they really want to collaborate with talent and a new research coming out from India as well. And of course, different countries. So collaboration is the key. And if you look at various funding agencies like NSF, they are also looking at increased collaboration, interdisciplinary partnership from not just from the US but globally. And to that happen, the quality of the science has to be improved much more than what we have here today. So we are actively looking at it. I strongly encourage it. We should plan similar conversations and meetings in future, because we will continuously learn from something from this. Sharing, exchanging ideas, support, and collaboration, encouragement is all important. And what percentage of a STEM area, like hardcore engineering in open access? It's not much. So what we are going to do about it? We are saying that 70% will be open access, but from the sci-tech perspective, how much of this, is it true that 70% of engineering information is in open access? I really doubt. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you, Sandeep. This is great. I tried my best as much as I could within the couple of days that I had to learn and read.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You were very informative, and actually, I agree. I think in drop notes, it was somewhere. No, they talked about APC, but at this current release, there is no clear lines about APC. But I am sure they will take care, because, as you said, AP is a big concern in USA. So you can make out that India definitely yes, because APC it start almost here from, say, like $1,500, $2,000 to $9,500, dollar. And being a librarian, as you say, it is our responsibility to, outreach, making awareness among the academic community. And, same time, as a librarian, we get lot of requests for APC charges, waive off of APC. So here also,
Okay.
being a librarian, we can play a big role, as we are doing to get, because foreign publishers, if librarian write an email to them to, waive off APC, especially society publishers, they give a respect to the librarian's email. Yeah, would you like to add anything here? Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to add one more thing. What I was going to say is I now forgot, but I will bring out as soon as I remember that.
Yeah, sure. We'll have one more round, so there you may please, it comes in your mind. We are going to have one more round. So thank you so much, Jay, for joining this. So now we have a last panelist for this round, Dr. Manju Naika from IIT Mumbai. Manju, can you hear us?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
hear.
thank you so much, Manju. I'm making you wait for such a long time. I'm sure now you're the for this round. You are the last panelist. After that, we'll have one quick round and then panel discussion, and we'll try to wrap up by 10:20. So yeah, Manju, the question is here for you. Are we prepared to get access to all the 30 publishers' content, though ONOS at our institute? Because though definitely you are working at IIT Mumbai, so may not be an issue, but you can talk on behalf of around 6,000 plus beneficiary. Over to you, Dr. Manju.
Yes, Sandeep. Yeah, thank you. You are right. Yeah, it's a material for particularly CFT and IITs. So, based on the other panelist view, let us not conclude that ONOS is a subscription-based model. So, we are yet to see the license agreement. What are the components? So, I do not agree because we have to see the lot of details. So, I hope it includes perpetual access, and also it includes open access content as well. If you see, most of the people, they say that, yeah, because there is an open access movement is going on, why government is spending too much on this ONOS. So we have been working, so we see the developments in the last 24 years about the open access. So whatever achieved is very less. And also we have seen the planet. The plan is, what was the agenda was that by 2024. So all the German publications will be open access. Now almost all 2024 is over, but it did not happen. But I think the government of India's in the initiative is in the right direction. The only my point is that from year to year, the open access content is keep on increasing, but at the same time, subscription cost also going and increasing. This is the area we should have consider, particularly in ONOS. If I come to you, I said it's not like that only access model. Of course, there must be a perpetual access model, and also ONOS also covers the open access. These are all the two clarification I wanted to give. If I come to your questions, so are we ready as India to access this 30 publishers, 16, what about 13,000 plus journal for 1.8 billion users and around 16,300 institutions? So India is the third largest country in the world in production of scholarly content. I don't think it is a challenge to have a bandwidth or networking. India is at the same time the largest, the users of smartphones. The bandwidth also is highest in India, and also scholarly production is also highest. The one challenge, I think there is no issue since we are a third largest country in production to use this 30 publisher, 13,000 journal access is not a big issue. This is the advantage rather in particularly second tier, third tier, the institution, still the library is in not a good condition. Since central fund is taking care about the journal subscription cost, they can upgrade their infrastructure, particularly network, the computer, the bandwidth, the internet, etc.
That's what I want to say.
Second thing that access. So access, probably there are various ways. Not necessarily you should have a computer network, lab, or internet. I think everybody has a laptop, everybody has a smartphone. So we can have a username, password access. Yeah, we can give a remote access. So that is not an issue. The last point I wanted to tell you is that ONS, are they going in opposite direction in the Western countries or American? So since open access, not achieved much as expected, under NEP, the government of India is expected to increase particularly enrollment of higher education in a very large scale in the coming year. You cannot create immediately the students for the large scale enrollment. This is a initial stage to prepare the large scale manpower to ready to take up the research, and also a lot of employment is also going to create in the coming decade. So in that direction, this is an infrastructure. It's not just a providing access. It is going to create a big impact and particularly quality of human resources, not only to India, to the world. That's all from me, Sandeep. Thank you.
Thank you so much, all the panelists. So I think now round 2 is over, and now in India time is 9:50. So now we have a last round, but I sincerely request all the panelists to please on your video. And then we have a last round. I request all of you to try to sum up in just 1 minute time. So we have a last this round of question. Meantime, I request all the participants to please, if you have any question, please write at chat box. Right. So we'll take around 8 to 10 questions. Dr. Seema will coordinate. We'll take those questions. Our eminent panel is here. So the last question we have, the round of question. This is a common question to all of us. This the one nation, one subscription, the opportunity and challenges. How this is going to. So I'll start with again Dr. Jay Bhatt is there. He's from librarian at engineering, Drexel University, Philadelphia. So over to you, Jay sir. ONOS, opportunity and challenges. So you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great panel so far, great conversation. One thing I want to also point out, at one point, we experimented with cancelling all the Elsevier titles 4 years back at Drexel. We had to do that because of some issues. And within the cancellation, as the faculty discovered, within 2 weeks, I had almost 100 emails, phone calls, that without these journals, we cannot do our research. It was an eye-opening experience. Almost whether any top scientific research, of course, there's we talk about open access, but it is not happening as it should have been, especially in the scientific area. If we want to really increase the speed of scientific research, the labs, the researchers should have access to that information as soon as possible, because whole world is working on different experiments. They are all waiting to publish the papers as fast as possible. From the intellectual property, patent and invention perspectives, they are not allowed to share that information also, unless the paper, unless they have applied for a patent, got the patent, and there are so many other issues involved. Open access was a hindrance, because they will have to publish that paper even before getting a patent, and that was not possible at that time. So these are certain challenges that the scientific field faces, and this is still an issue, and there's a lot of discussion happening among university, among the technology transfer offices. We have Office of Applied Innovation in our university, and most of the sci-tech universities, they will have that partnership between faculty, industry, innovation partnerships, and all that. So that is a big issue. And one thing I also point out is that I guess the government is wanted to make it more equitable, not just IITs, but with this, all the other universities, colleges in those areas that did not have access to these complicated, expensive journals will now have access. And if they use it efficiently, if our libraries teach the students efficiently, in partnership with faculty and researchers, then the situation will change fast. But that will depend on us, how we are going to do that.
Yes.
And the biggest challenge I face is from students coming from India is that they copy and paste so much articles in the journals, and not just that. There are certain countries that they should come from. They think that we can just post, copy and paste from the article, and then they have figured out that they are caught, and there's so many implications. On the other hand, we have really good quality students also coming from IITs and many others. And they can clearly see the difference between quality of research that they do from the students coming from IIT versus from others. So what that means is definitely the quality of other universities, colleges has to be improved. Their research has to be improved. And that can only be done if proper workshop, proper training is given to them, research ethics, integrity that has been taught very early in them. And I think that is absolutely critical. And when that happens, obviously the quality of research coming out from other universities, education becoming more equitable, more enhanced, increasing visibility of universities' education system all over the world, and that will a big impact. And again, this is not just next year or 2 years. This impact and changes will happen progressively over the years. So the success of these 3 years, 25, 26, 27, is absolutely critical to move forward with it. So there is a role for every one of us to play here. Thank you, Sandeep.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Now, the Dr. Manju. Dr. Manju, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I thought not to, make you wait this time. So yeah, over to you.
Okay. My final remarks on this one. Yeah, there will be a lot of restructure. Okay, particularly budget allocation for libraries and also from the government. Point number one. There will be a restructure in the publisher as well as business in India, since there is a one license agreement for the entire country. Probably now publisher who used to listen each and every institutions, they may not, since it is a centralization process. They are getting a single order and single payment. That is going to be a big challenge. So finally, it is a first stage. Over a period of time, probably whatever challenges we may face at the national level, they may address. But we would like to thank everybody, whoever has worked hard to make this happen. It did not happen immediately, but almost it took 4 years. Providing access to high quality resources to the people who are working, whether students or faculty or researcher, it would be a boon. As we said always, yeah, there will be some constructive criticism as well. I hope the stakeholder will address this, whatever remarks, whatever constructive criticism, feedback they are giving right now. What it happens, you see that if you see the index, closely around 20-23 years back, it started. So at the same time, open access movement also started. Imagine that if everybody believed that open access is going to come, why there is Index consortium, later on 2015, why ESS consortium? Now again, the people are saying that why ONS, open access has not been taken care. And all those things, there will be some comments as well. But however, if you see the publication, if you see the quality of education research, it happened in the last decade, a lot of things it happened. It is expected, particularly since they are connecting to the NEP, there will be a tremendous growth in particular scientific manpower, and also India will be hub, particularly South Asia, to create employment and also to attract the industry, to attract the fund, and also to attract the student as well. Since many foreign universities are setting up, many companies, they are giving the land and various infrastructure facility, and also this ONOS, the resources. So the manpower is important, the critical resource for knowledge economy. It is going to create important resource as well as asset for the entire world. Hope many countries they will follow, and automatically again this national subscription cost also will come down. These are all the few my final comments, Sandeep. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Manju. And the if success of this One Nation One Subscription means the success of the librarians in India and our well wishers sitting in US like Dr. Jay is here. So I'm sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
Sandeep,
please.
One thing I want to add is this is really going to improve the collaboration across the world if this goes successful, like 2-3 years from now, more scientific research coming out, more visibility, more chances for opportunities to collaborate globally. Again, it is up to us how we make this happen, and we should try our best for this to succeed.
Yes. More collaboration means more visibility, and definitely then it will improve the rank also of the respective institution, because that
and
is
more innovation
yeah.
would help the whole world globally.
Yeah.
Now there's space application, and we are already seeing the NASA and ISRO collaboration bringing so many new things happening in the space area, for example.
Yes. Thank you so much. Dr. Neeraj, are you there? Dr. Neeraj?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
so your concluding remarks, you please, would you like to sum up the final round about the ONOS opportunity and challenges? Just 1 minute, 1 minute.
We are talking about enhancing the quality of Indian research. And if you see the data, majority of research are coming from universities, IITs, and top institutions. But at the same time, government is also promoting research culture at colleges level and some other educational institute level. Like, for example, if we will see this ONOS while working at university and IITs, then it will look very normal because we all are getting access of all these 30 publishers content, and we are having the sufficient budget. Like in my university, we are spending 6 crore rupees. But what about some other state universities, some approved center of colleges where they are not going to afford the subscription of Elsevier and other top publishers content? So it is a very great initiative by the government in terms of bringing all 30 important publishers content under one umbrella. And this is definitely going to promote the research culture. And one of the panelists was saying that when you compare the research is done by the IITs and other level institutions, there is a huge difference. One of the reason is because these institutions, they are not having access of these top publishers content. So once, the institution will have the access of these top quality publishers content, definitely it is going to enhance the reputation, perception of Indian research to the scientific community. And one last thing, the question is why the publishers, they have participated in this negotiation, because from the last 2 years, Elsevier, it is very, very tough to get, deal with the Elsevier. But if you look the data from publishers' point of view from the last 3 years, they are not getting also subscription from universities because due to the budget constraint, many universities, they have dropped the subscription of good publishers content. So, at that, based on the last 3-year data, they are losing the clients, their subscription is dropping. So now after 3 years, government has proposed this model. So that is why, these top publishers, they have agreed to get the things done because they also want business. So I think it's somehow a win-win situation from publisher, from academic institution, from researcher, and definitely it is going to, will be beneficial for the researcher all over the India. And talking about the challenges, yes, I agree to this point because there is still not information coming from government side and not documentation has been done. But soon when we will receive the communication from InflipNet and more information will be available, then most of the things which we are discussing about is going to resolve. And it is just time to wait and watch for 3 years. And I'm very, very positive about this initiative. And I think that it is going to enhance the perception and reputation of Indian research.
Thank you so much, Dr. Neeraj. That is the reason, see, we all librarians are here, and definitely our efforts will definitely, make it a success. System will be also thankful to us. Though clear guidelines are not there, it is not, but we are here to discuss, and definitely, as Jayaji has mentioned, that this is just a beginning, and we'll have a more and more discussion like this once, more things are clear from the system wide. So again, I'd like to call Khush from IIT Goa. Yeah, would you like to give final remarks on this?
So I would sum up like this, that change is inevitable, and because this is a great change and a positive change, ONOS, we should be ready for more disruption which is coming our way in the next couple of years. So there may be inclusion of the private colleges maybe by next year if the government thinks that it should be extended to the private colleges. Maybe it would be extended to the common man, like a national license would be there. So the disruption would be there, and we should take our decisions accordingly. So I would like to say that we have to be very positive because this is a very great change, obviously, because the students who are not able to access the underprivileged areas where the people who are not able to access the journals might get a chance to access those journals in the coming 3 years. So this is a positive change from our side, and we have to be very positive for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And I would like to add here that due to press release, social media, not only librarians, everybody in the institutions are aware about these updates. One Nation One subscription, and for example, like Dr. Vinod is going for a tea, and then faculty student will ask, okay, what is going on? What is One Nation? How we are going to benefit? There are a lot of questions. So being a librarian, we need to be informed about all these updates, and I think definitely this discussion will help. So yeah, Dr. Vinod, I request you to give a final remarks on this.
Just I would like to say that how through this ONOS we can avail the benefit of actually boosting the open access movement and also open science movement. And we have to see that recently many publishers have given institute offer that whatever subscription charges you are paying, in lieu of that you can publish certain articles under open access model. So in the same way, whether there is a possibility that we can, whatever we are paying, like 6,000 crore or something, in lieu of that, it is possible that institute can publish their articles in open access model. So that will be more cost effective. That is one thing. And because if we will pay and that continue to pay, that publisher will also become habitual that yes, they are ready to always pay, so get it money and then provide the services. So we should not give that kind of opportunity, because we know that many of the publisher actually thought of this kind of thing, particularly like ACS. They were very rigid, and so they were not participating earlier in implement that negotiation also, and we were bound to publish. Many of the institute, they completely depend upon the ACS. So this kind of scope we should not also give to the publisher and think of open access models. And so it should be cost effective. Another thing is, and most important, what I feel for IITs or big CFTIs or university, it's a not big deal that technically they are sound and they have all the infrastructure, but we have to think about the small institutions, those who are not having actually good infrastructure, and also user education, librarians education as well as user education, that how to access all those resources, what will be the infrastructure. So government should or implementers should think on this area also, that providing the thing is not a big issue, but how they will access it continuously from their desktop to mobile, at any place. That is another most important thing which government should consider, and provide them infrastructure lot like NKN they have provided internet kind of thing. So that kind of infrastructure is most important for the institution to access more and more, and to increase their actually that download and statistics. That is one thing. So then that way I would like to conclude this one.
Thank you so much. And lighter side, I'd like to say that, somehow some budget we are going to save, right? Because we will be getting access to pay resources. So that way, if the institute is allowed to pay the APC charges on behalf of faculty members, of course, after some, screening and all those things, that is one of the thought is coming in my mind, that what money we are going to, some amount of that maybe institute may get a liberty to spend on APC. So now, Professor Rao, I'd like to invite you to give concluding remarks on this overall panel discussions. I request you to sum up in 2 to 3 minutes about the concluding remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Patak. It was a wonderful session. And one ONOS is an innovative activity. After 3-4 years of experimentation, discussion, what you call bargaining, ultimately we could do it. Now only there are a lot of issues are there as raised by our professional friends. These things we have to check how we are going to move forward and what will be the implication. For example, everybody was raising APC charges, open access versus ONOS, right? Then another important thing is now we are looking into blue sky and trying to count these stars. We don't know what is going to happen. And we have to also see how the subscription is going to be used by people. Maybe they will try to check when the institution gets the access to these 13,000 journal. They will see how far they are being used, because now we have a user statistics. Similarly, they may go into user statistics, and based on that, they may change the number of journals or titles. The titles they may change, or they may discontinue subscription. I don't know. Maybe these 3 years, they will, 1 year, first year they will make study and then make some changes, and depending upon the agreements they have made, and then we are hopefully that this will help us in improving the research output in the country, and also at the same time, as I said, research resource sharing. We have to see how best we'll be able to make resource sharing among our other libraries, because I doubt whether they will be able to give the connectivity to private institutions, because they feel that private institutions are making money. So therefore, at least the government institutions, can we make a small resource sharing activity among these, at least in the cities? Because earlier we had a consortia, first initially one consortia started and led to so many consortia, and we were talking about a single consortia per country. Ultimately, it never happened. And I know that the prices in one consortia was different in another consortia for the same resource. So there are a lot of issues we have examined. So therefore, this ONOS, it is a new experiment, and I'm sure that this will help us in getting access to journals. And at the same time, we should also request the InfibNet or the Ministry of Education to see how we will be able to promote open access, and how we will be able to start every institution, a top institution starts a journal which is an open access, so that these journals they will be able to save the APC, and then the research can be promoted all over the world. And then at the same time, I'm sure that the public, they should seek the opinions, experiences from each and every library. The InfibNet should consolidate all these experiences and then move forward. And I'm sure the things will be much better if they go on evaluating based on the experiences of the libraries. But at the same time, I say that this is one of the best method compared to earlier days, and I'm sure this will be giving a benefit to a lot of institutions. And lastly, I will say thanks to Government of India and thanks to InfibNet for their efforts to completely accept the ONOS. Thank you very much. Unmute करिए हमारा पाठक सर.
Am I audible?
Now it is okay.
So I just saying कि we had a few, this panel discussion by MPL in the past. Like Professor Rao was here. It was a panel discussion in November 2020, and then this one another one September 22, and then this another one it was in October 2020. So in this if you see many publishers were part of this panel discussion, ACS, then RSC, elsewhere, Springer Nature, IOP, and now today we have this. And as on behalf of this MPLA, I'm sure we will have many more. And I'd like to throw one concept again here. Like One Nation, One Subscription, as I said, it was floated in 2019. Now I feel most of the money is going out. Most of the publishers they are sitting in other countries. Why can't now government take a initiate ask all the top institutions, CFT institution, start with CFT institution to come up with at least one journal, one peer reviewed journals, and let's have a pool of peer reviewed journals. And then government later may think of publishing at least one article in a year in this journal. For example, you see Chinese journals, they so much give weightage to their. So let's have a pool of very good journals, and you never know when other countries people will start publishing in our journal. So time has come. Let us have many more Indian publishers, top class publishers, as compared to the publisher like Wiley, Springer Nature, ACS, RSC, and why not? We have a such a talent, and let's. I think now government also may take a move in this regard also. Dr. Jai would like to add anything, any suggestion on this point?
Yeah, yes, one thing I would like to add, and that is there's a lot of AI revolution happening today. And we have been experimenting with integration of AI into subscription-based databases. Like, for example, you search even elsewhere, and many other publishers have started. So my question is whether One Nation, One Subscription, whatever their discovery platform is at that point, if they begin to integrate AI into that, then more discovery of information, research paper can happen. So something to keep in mind and something to recommend to them.
Definitely. So what we'll do when after this panel discussion tomorrow, I'll write a brief what we discuss in on social media. I'll definitely tag the respective authority, and I'm sure this our discussion key highlights of the discussion will go on social media. And as a panelist, whoever is available, you may also I sincerely request all of you to please write some highlights about this discussion, and I'm sure this will make a difference because still authorities also thinking about various point on this, how to move forward, how to make a success, because there is a pressure now on them to make it success. So I think this kind of discussion will definitely add. Yeah, would you like to add?
And there will be pressure on the students to publish papers also now, because now they are saying that you have access to all this information, so do your research well, and this is great in a way.
Yes, not only papers, quality papers, because
quality papers.
Rejection of papers is very high from India. It is almost 65 to 70% people.
And Sandeep, I would also suggest that you also tell them when you talk with them is that the need for creating video tutorials on how to use ONOS from the government, or video tutorials or some kind of examples on how to search, how to use it, how can they integrate with the libraries on those institutions. There's a panel or there's a conference they can create for all the libraries in India where they can show how ONOS can be used.
Yes, very good idea. Yes, thank you so much. So now I request Dr. Seema, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So I request you to take few questions, top 5 questions. You take it here, and then we can, conclude by, group photo. So over to you, Seema.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So any of the Seema, once you read out the question, I request any of the panelists, may proactively or voluntarily reply the question. So all the panelists, please on your video. So we can make out who is available. So it will be easier for us to find out. Yeah, Seema, please go ahead.
Question is from Dr. Sriram. Actually, he is asking about budget consumption. How it is assessed its impact. The challenge of budget, how it is assessed its impact.
Dr. Manju, would you like to answer? But question is not very clear, right? Is it clear?
Can you repeat that question, Seema?
Repeat Seema question.
The question is regarding budget consumption. He has written the best part is the budget consumption, but the challenge is how it is assessed its impact.
Yeah, but in case, okay, for the current year, if they have already received the budget for 2025, yeah, they can spend that budget for other resources. Yeah, even they can any databases under resources which are not covered under ONOS that can be for that can be utilized. This is the matter for only for 2025. The later
Can I clarify the question?
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you, Dr. Sandeep. Actually, my question was, this is a good initiative where we are getting central budget. We need not to spend our budget for subscription. But my question was related to how it is going to impact the overall research output and also the impact in terms of its utilization. There are certain challenges in front of institutions where people are not having, especially the technical aspect, how people are going to utilize this resource in terms of its effectiveness. Because many multidisciplinary university, they may not require engineering discipline resources. And at the same time, many university, they have restrictions, not having access to language related content. So how it is going to be ensured that whatever the 30 publishers which are going to gain access, how those resources being utilized by the institutions in terms of its effectiveness.
Sriram. Most of these publishers are not specifically one or two subjects. Nowadays, research is most interdisciplinary.
Right.
And these 30 have been selected not just based on they have supported or they have submitted. These are all the common publishers as subscribed from all the institutions in India. So what is left out here, it is difficult to find out, except some few society publishers who are specifically publishing on, for example, in the medical or something. For example, you take the largest 4 publishers elsewhere, Springer Nature, Taylor and Francis, Wiley. Tell me one institution who does not have a subscription from these publishers, and tell me which area they have not covered. Almost all, from anthropology to zoology, they are publishing the content. The effective today you are giving access to this journal. Tomorrow you cannot expect the people to publish it. It takes time. Particularly the research component start with undergraduate. So then, but particularly undergraduate and the engineering level, many people even they do not know who is the publisher, what is the database, what is the impact factor, those things. This is the initially, it is about the education. The later on stage only, it is about creating awareness. And also, as initially I said that the platform they are preparing for NAP. That normally enormous, compared to the current strength, they are going to increase the higher education. So suddenly you cannot increase the higher education without having a qualified manpower. So in that way, in an effective way, the resource will be utilized. And also this is not permanent. Always they will be reviewed. And this is for initially for 3 years, but it does not mean 3 years it should be continued. And also we are yet to see the each and every point in the license agreement, what they will cover. Assume that even though they have made a license agreement to 3 year, yeah, some publisher may not be there. Assume that may not be there in 2026. Yeah, those classes will be included in the license agreement, and definitely it is like a okay, the buffet. There will be a thousands of item. Whatever they want, they can select it. It is going to increase the interdisciplinary. When you are giving access to large resources rather than specific, we are living in the era of interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary. It supports that. So let us not think about the isolated. Let us think about the majority who publish the large content. So these are all my response to you, Sriram. Yeah, thank you.
I concur with Manju completely, and this is my experience as well. If you look at ASE, ASME, Institute of Physics, and all that, this is for really covering the heart of STEM interdisciplinary research. And that is the need of the hour. We have our researchers working in the biology and medicine, working with biomedical engineers and chemistry. We have psychologists working with biomedical engineers to work into neuroimaging and all those kind of areas. So all these boundaries of various disciplines are becoming blur and blur and blur, and we are becoming more towards team-based librarianship rather than just one like an engineering librarian or a science librarian, because everybody is covering so many interdisciplinary areas. Exactly.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Dr. Ravi Kumar. On implementation of ONOS, what about existing consortiums in India? I repeat, on implementation of ONOS, what about existing consortium in India? Sandeep, sir?
Sandeep?
Yes, can I?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Seema.
anyone can answer.
Yeah, anyone.
Sir,
Yeah. That Vinod, would you like to reply to this question? Can you repeat, Seema?
Actually,
what about existing consortiums in India if implemented on ONOS is implemented?
So what we like to add here is this. See, as of now, it's not very clear, but what we are assuming, once one nation, one subscription is there, although consortia will not, I will not say merge, existence will not be there, because as per the government policy, because Government of India took initiate, all the department comes under Government of India. So there is no question, because we have received a communication also, we need not go for any subscription or negotiation further. So I am sure they will not have existence. But what can be, the other side I see, suppose apart from 30 publishers, right? Maybe I think ministry wise they may negotiate for common resources. For example, ICERs, whatever resources are not covered by Ministry of Education, initially 30 publishers. Like in case of ICER Bhopal, we are dealing with around 58 publishers. So common resources among ICERs, apart from these 30, definitely we can go ahead and negotiate. So this kind of small efforts will be there by respective consortium till ONOS in the full flesh. Would you like to add anything, Vinod, here?
no, whatever you are telling, right, you have rightly pointed out. Only 30 publishers are there. Some may be very specific, which is not considered under that ONOS. So I think those consortium may still exist, and they will negotiate and they will make their own policy how to deal. And definitely that implement may interfere on all these things. They will guide what to do and how to proceed if their resources is not covered under 30 publisher. So I think definitely government will give them flexibility to go ahead with those which is specific to their organizations.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, Seema, next question.
Yeah, Sandeep, one point. Sandeep,
wait,
one point here. Suppose if you encourage the other existing consortium, the meaning of one nation, one subscription is irrelevant. Simultaneously, if you continue the existing consortium, the one ONOS, that is a one subscription, yeah, is a meaningless.
So what I would like to
So,
add here, Manju, that they are, very close consortium kind of. They are limited. For example, CSIR, they are only working for the CSR labs, right? For example,
yeah.
DBT. So whatever after 30, like this phase one, like as of now, they are dealing with the public. So rest of the publisher, if they are in need, they cannot just pay, they can come jointly and then pay individually. There is no harm if jointly they negotiate with the publisher. But
No, and even
they can do only the clarification from input data from ministry, right? Once it is clear, like next year when it is clear, these are the 30 or 40 publishers. Once it is clear, I think then for the rest of the things you would like to have, they can, I think, negotiate with the not in the
Right.
consortium form but close form. Yeah, we don't.
even actually we are not aware ki, like databases, bibliographic databases especially. Each and every institution required that one, but we don't know whether that is covered or not, like Web of Science or Scopus. All these are most important resources, and most of the organization required this one. So we do not know how each and every organization will go ahead with this one, or centrally Inflimnet may also, like Inflimnet were already providing some resources through the centralized fund, so they may go in that way also, that they Inflimnet will
Yeah.
still negotiate, and whoever is required those resources, they can procure that one from their own fund. So that is possible, but some central point will be there definitely, because
But
I checked with the Influnet. They say that the remaining things they will negotiate the price, and individual libraries have to buy. This is one question. Second is, for example, take an agriculture. Dr. Ravi Kumar is from agriculture. See, all the journals which are core journals of the agriculture are not included in this. So naturally, ICAR will take care of the core journals, and probably they may continue to have the consortia eliminating these ONOS journals. Because otherwise, if they start buying each and everybody buying individually, they have to pay several expense. They become much more expensive because individual library. So therefore,
I'll tell.
1 minute. Let me come to.
Yeah.
The consortia, maybe as Dr. Patak said, it will be limited, and they may eliminate these journals and take care of the core journals and databases. I think that will continue, but we have to see what is going to happen. I think this is what we can guess right now.
Right.
Yeah, Dr. Jay, you would like to add something?
Yeah, what I was saying is these 30 publishers are, I think they have been selected as core set of databases. I'll tell you one thing. Each of those, ASAE, for example, each of those was costing us close to like $10, $15, $20,000 per year. IEEE was costing us like $200,000 per year. Elsewhere was costing like more than $1 million a year. I don't know, approximately I'm saying, I don't know the exact. So if you look into this, these 30 core publishers would account for so much of subscription cost if you go and subscribe individually. Right, and as we said, these are all interdisciplinary publications covering all major disciplines. But I know there's journals like agriculture, areas like agriculture, social sciences, and business, for example, are not very much covered, and there could be something kind of other consortial agreements can be available or envisioned at that point. And I think there's a lot to hear from them. And I think we learn from them as the time goes by. And in January, they are implementing this already almost December. So there's just 1 month left.
Yes. Yeah. Seema, any other question? Maybe last question we can take. Yeah.
Yeah, one more question from Rajkumar sir. He's asking about the role of librarians in ONOS.
Yeah.
Role of librarians in ONOS.
Vinod, would you like to answer this? Role of librarians in ONOS. Yes, Lakshman Rao sir.
Big role.
No, the question is, when the government is spending so much money, how best we will be able to make use is more important. The librarians have to put in effort to see that they are accessed, they are used, And because once the utilization or what you user statistics only help the government to support in future also. And once the research output is naturally access means that research output is likely to be increased. And all these things, I think they may monitor. So therefore, librarians have to put in little effort to see that how best these 13,000 journals are accessed.
100%.
Second is, as I I'm repeating, we should see that our own, for example, a university, we have certain colleges. Is it possible for us to provide access in the university library for these journals is very important under the resource sharing. This has to be considered so that optimum utilization is taken place. As I repeatedly said, earlier said, that most of the 60-70% are open access, still we are paying. So therefore, taking into such consideration, we have to see that how best we will be able to provide access to our own colleges under the universities, especially I'm talking in the universities. That's what I think the librarians play a key role everywhere. They play a key role, but unfortunately, their services are not recognized by many institutions, especially vice chancellors.
Yes, I totally agree with Dr. Rao. And from the information literacy perspective, this is going to be a major resources that libraries will have to develop, whether through library guides, subject guides, research guides, YouTube tutorials they can create on video. So many things can be done that can be integrated with social media platforms. Each university can have their own social media presence through Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever. They can highlight specific resource that they can use. So a lot can be done. Yes. So communications department from the university working with the librarians to really share new documents, teaching tutorials and lots of things.
Definitely, yes. And like I'm here, media cell, looking after media cell, I can, see the importance of every department is having it on their own social media account. We tag, each other. And this is a platform. Even I request all of you after the session, maybe tomorrow you can, highlight of this discussion at social media. And I'm sure our discussion will definitely, help at least to update ourselves and then, respective agencies, as I saw in the, participants, there are agencies also representative are listening to us, and I'm sure this will definitely going to help all of us. So I have started the video. I respect all the participants to please on your video so we can have a group photograph quickly, and then we can summarize. It is already 10:40.
Yeah,
I think many of us have to take a dinner.
Can you give me 1 minute time? I want to.
Sure.
Sorry to say this. This is related to ONOS. Unfortunately, what is happening? Our syllabus is not being curriculum is not being updated in most of the universities. The reason is we link with the net, and net is not being revised. The reason is so many reasons. We are not in a, because of lack of understanding, lack of whatever it is. For example, Unit 10 has 7 or 6 or 7 like public library system, academic library system, medical library system. How many people will read? Even simple an example, the copy catalog is not there. So I just wanted to request our fellow professionals, write a comment. At least you can write to me. I am trying to consolidate. What are your opinions on net syllabus? Especially you look into the Unit 10, where if you are learning public library system, the question comes from the medical library system. If you learn from medical library system, the question comes from academic library system. What is happening? If you could write, I am just trying to consolidate the opinions, because this is again, as Dr. J. Bhatt said, regarding the information literacy program. We don't have any such thing in the, just theoretical, but we don't have anything extensively. What is information literacy? How do we do? What do we do? Nothing is there. So therefore, some of the ideas, if you can share with me, I will try to consolidate and try to put into net authorities. Thank you.
Sandeep, I would like to add one point.
Sure. Yeah. Yes,
related to role librarians in ONOS. The only thing we have to see, at present, we are having the existing budget. Like all the universities, they are having budget for 2025 subscription. So we have to now utilize this budget very wisely, because when you cut subscription amount of all these top 30 publishers, it is going to be a huge cost saving for you. So now almost all the publishers, specifically the ebook seller and vendors, they will contact you because they also know that this year you have to utilize your budget. And we don't know next year how much budget we are getting or we will get from our institution. So whatever remaining budget you will have this year, this thing we have to utilize very wisely so that we can justify the subscription and we can also justify the return.
Okay. So I'd like to add here, Neeraj, one thing that we
And
already got an email from finance that how much money are going
And
to, how much money.
one thing, sir, I wanted to add here
Yeah.
that we regarding budget, we don't know. Some order may come from the ministry that we are providing this much of resources from our own budget. So this much of budget has been cut down for this financial year. That may also happen. And one thing regarding librarians' role we are discussing. So what I observe it, there is no difference at all. Only what we are not going to do is we are not going to place the order. We are not going to invoicing against that particular public, sir. This is the only difference. Otherwise, rest of the thing, as Lakshman Rao sir and like Jai Bhatt sir and everybody told, then this is our role only, that how we can get maximum out of that money. You can say that return on investment depend upon the librarians, how they are promoting this ONOS and how they are reaching to the users, how outreach programs they are conducting. So everything is same. Only difference is we are not going to do that invoicing and ordering of that particular resource. Otherwise, we have to monitor usage statistics. We have to give the services, uninterrupted services. So many things depend upon us only still today. There is no difference at all, except that invoicing and that ordering.
Yes, I would say it's a very dynamic model, and when things will change so quickly, we do not know because it's a very dynamic, and we are not sure how it is going to take place. But as Dr. Vinod has mentioned, that yes, nothing must change. But as like Dr. Neeraj was saying about how to utilize this money. So in our case, I already received a letter that how much money you may save because of this ONOS, because we already booked money. So that is their concern, that this money should not be left out unutilized. So we clearly say still things are not clear. So don't be in hurry. Let us have a clear this thing. And otherwise, you have many new recommendations, so we may consider. Yeah. So, Dr. Prabhat Pandey, sir, would you like to add, sir, something before we conclude some of the session? Prabhat, sir, would you like to say final remarks?
So, thank you. It's really nice session. It's interactive session. Everybody gives her vision because it's early stage to say something. So, I think please go ahead. Thank you so much.
So thank you all for joining us, and it was a pleasure to have you all the eminent panelists here. And I can see the senior people in the participant like Dr. Sriram, Dr. Har Singh. So all the people have joined. Dr. Alek, I can see here. So thank you all for joining us. And this is just a beginning, I will say. Arvind has joined from PIT Mesra. So this is just a beginning, and I'm sure we will have many more sessions, in future. Please be a part of MPLA. We sincerely thank Dr. Prabhat Pandey sir for considering this idea to have panel impact. In fact, he called me and says, Sandeep, why can't we can have some discussion over it. Immediately I said yes. Then I discussed with my friends Neeraj, Vinod, and other Manju, and then immediately we thought of having this. So thank you once again. Thank you all. And this is just a beginning. Let's create a vibrancy about One Nation, One Subscription. Jay is there from US. I'm sure he will take our this meeting highlights, forward, and I'm sure.
Of course, yes, yes.
They may soon follow some model based on the One Nation, One Subscription. Thank you all. Bye bye. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Good night. Thank you very much, Sandeep. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
all. Great
Bye.
conversation. Bye.
Thank you.